And that primary goal is to communicate your value proposition effectively. It's not to showcase your mastery of industry terminology. Use simple, jargon-free language and focus it all from the customer's perspective. Hey there, and welcome to another episode of the Master Your Business podcast. I'm your host, Deirdre Martin. It is pouring rain here as I'm recording this episode, and I've got two teenagers home from school who could be eating crisps or laughing and giggling, which is wonderful to hear, but not always the type of thing you might hear in a podcast. But hey, this is the real world. That's where I live. I'm at home in my home office as I record this. But this episode today is called Website Mistakes You Can't Afford to Make. I'm going to be walking you through some common pitfalls in website design and development. Now, some of you know that I'm a certified StoryBrand guide, and I didn't know what that was a few years ago, so I'm guessing some of you don't know what it is either. Let me quickly explain. A certified StoryBrand guide is a marketing professional who has completed a StoryBrand guide certification program. StoryBrand, what that is it's a marketing framework created by a guy called Donald Miller, who's based in Nashville, Tennessee, in the US. He is the author of the books Building a StoryBrand, Marketing Made Simple, Business Made Simple, and a few more. The framework of building a StoryBrand he created is based on the idea of storytelling to essentially create clarity in your messaging and engage your customers as effectively as possible. So, as a certified StoryBrand guide, I've been trained in the StoryBrand methodology, and I help businesses implement this framework to create compelling marketing messages, build websites, develop sales funnels, and improve their overall marketing strategies. The main reason I became certified back in 2021 was because I'm so passionate about customer experience and customer centricity in business that having read the books, I loved how easy the frameworks were and how customer focused they were. And I really wanted to learn more about it to firstly help me with my own brand story and marketing message, but equally because so many of my clients were stuck in this particular area of a customer journey. So ultimately, this certification helps me to better serve my clients in crafting clear, engaging, and results-driven marketing materials. And in fact, it forms a huge part of my BMC method, helping clients stand out in a crowded marketplace and winning business. So let's dive right in and uncover those website blunders that can sabotage your online presence. And you know what? Maybe you're not making these, and that's great if you're not. And there's more than 5 out there, but these are 5 that I see all of the time. And, even people who've paid thousands for websites have had the experience of these mistakes. A client recently told me before they'd started working with me that they'd spent 30,000 on a website. I haven't even seen it, but they told me it was so crap that they scratched it. So there's certain things you need to be mindful of when you're creating a website. But these ones are specifically focused and centered around the StoryBrand framework, because if you want a clear and compelling message, it's words that make people buy, right? So mistake number 1 is exactly that: lack of clear messaging. A website with unclear messaging is basically like a story that doesn't have a plot. So website visitors will quickly lose interest and leave if they can't tell what it's about. So to avoid this, follow that StoryBrand framework. It's so simple, and it allows you to create a clear, concise, and compelling message. Ensure that your website's content, so that's all of the words and text known as copy, speaks directly to your target audience and addresses their pain points. It should communicate your value proposition, which is like your unique selling point. It's what makes you stand out. So it should communicate that really clearly. And it should highlight the benefits that clients will get or experience when they work with you. So here's a tip. Think of it this way. People who know nothing about what you do or who you are should be able to quickly understand what you do and how it will make their life better, how they can work with you, all in just a matter of seconds. So when somebody lands on your website, can they understand what you do? Can they understand how it will make their life or their business better? And can they figure out how to get it all in just a matter of seconds? If the answer is yes, then your website is already not making this mistake. Well done, you. Okay, here's mistake number 2. Overloading your website with jargon and buzzwords. Okay, so here's an example, right? Even though I'm a StoryBrand certified guide, I really don't talk a huge amount about that on my website because most people don't know what a StoryBrand certified guide is. So I will be speaking industry jargon and filling my website with words that people don't understand. So I'm wasting words on people in that case. So this is something that's really common as in industry jargon and buzzwords. And I see this particularly with service-based professionals who are extremely data-driven, right? Because that information, and this is the other reason why it happens, it's to do with the curse of knowledge as well. It's like you know what you know because you've probably known it now for the last however many years. But just think about before you knew that, did you ever wonder what those words meant? Right? So sometimes when you use industry jargon or buzzwords, you might kind of feel like you're positioning yourself as an expert, but actually what could happen is that you could end up alienating your audience. Now, here's the thing. If you're business to business, B2B, and let's imagine that your ideal clients are, let's just say medical, right? Let's just say they provide medical services and you're providing them with machinery or equipment to help them deliver those services. Well, then in that case, some of the language and jargon, that you might typically use in your industry may actually be appropriate. But for the machine, if there's words about the machine that they won't know what they are, that's where you don't use them. So instead, use plain and simple language that your customers can easily understand. But what you're trying to do with your website is to keep in mind that it should have a primary goal. And that primary goal is to communicate your value proposition effectively. It's not to showcase your mastery of industry terminology, right? So here's the tip. Use simple, jargon-free language and focus it all from the customer's perspective. Make sense? Okay, mistake number 3. Failing to include strong calls to action or CTAs. Your website should guide visitors to take specific actions, such as signing up for your newsletter, requesting a consultation, or making a purchase. To achieve this, include clear and persuasive CTAs throughout your website. Remember that CTAs are crucial for converting casual visitors into leads or customers. Here's a tip with this. Be direct, like straight to the point. Tell people to book now, buy now, schedule a call, or whatever is relevant for your business. Avoid diluting your calls to action with things like learn more or get started, because it makes people kind of feel like, how do I actually get going with this, right? So be direct, tell people. Mistake number 4, neglecting mobile optimization. This is the digital age, right? And in today's digital age, 60% plus of your audience is probably going to access your website through their smartphones or their tablets. If your site is not mobile friendly, you risk losing potential customers. Seriously. That means making sure that, when you look at your website on your phone, that it looks good, that it flows okay, and that on all devices that it works. It just works. There shouldn't be like an overflow of words or images. It should be really clear. So check it on all devices to make sure that your users have a really seamless experience. So here's a tip with this one. Check it out on a Samsung and Apple device. look at it in different browsers on your desktop too. So check it on Chrome, check it on Internet Explorer, check it on Safari, wherever, whatever type of browser you use, check it out on all of the different ones. If parts of the pages, as I say, are missing or words flow over the edges, that just won't cut it anymore. It's just not good enough. People will think that this is an amateur business, or, that they don't care about how they look or their appearance, and it will actually affect your brand. So call up your web designer if that's happening to you and get it sorted, my friend. Seriously, your bank balance will thank you later. I promise. Okay, mistake number 5, ignoring the power of testimonials and social proof. Testimonials and social proof can significantly boost your website and your brand's credibility and conversion rate. So incorporate reviews, incorporate case studies, client logos, all of those things into your site, because they'll showcase your expertise and the value that you can bring to your customers. Plus, this is where if somebody sees like a logo or a brand name that they recognize, maybe it's in a similar industry to them, well, then they're going to be like, oh, they've worked with somebody in my industry, they can probably help me too, right? So it also helps to build trust and rapport with visitors and viewers to your website. So here's a tip. Where you can, try and use video testimonials, because people will believe what others say about you more than they'll believe what you say about yourself. So I already recorded a recent episode of the show, which was all about gathering testimonials. And I referred to VideoAsk, which is an amazing software that you can use to send to clients to get either a video testimonial back or a text testimonial back. So you can check that out in episode 19. It was called Praise Please, Score Stellar Customer Testimonials Without Sounding Desperate. So you get all of the show information there. Okay, there you have it, folks. Those are the crucial website mistakes you just simply cannot afford to make. By avoiding these pitfalls and implementing the practical tips I've shared with you today, you're going to be well on your way to crafting a website that effectively communicates your brand story. And, this is what we all want, right? It's to convert visitors into loyal paying customers. I have a free StoryBrand marketing assessment that you are welcome to take. It does ask a ton of questions and giving you fair warning about your business, but it's so worth it because it produces a step-by-step plan to help you nail your messaging, your website, your sales funnels, and more. It literally will tell you what you need to work on first or next. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes to fill out all the details. And like people have said, there's a lot here, Deirdre, and they've kind of got halfway through and stopped. But I swear, when you do it and see the report, it will be time well spent. So I will put details of that assessment in the show notes, and it's up to you. Take it, don't take it. But if you take the time, you'll be so glad you did. Okay, if you've enjoyed this episode of the Master Your Business podcast, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Leave me a review and share the show with your fellow entrepreneurs. My goal right here on this show every single week is to continue delivering valuable insights and actionable tips to help you and your business to thrive. I would love to hear your thoughts on today's episodes or any suggestions for future topics. So feel free to connect with me on social media or send me an email at info@deirdremartin.ie. Your feedback genuinely is invaluable in helping create content that truly resonates with you and with other listeners. So once again, I'm Deirdre Martin, your host, and I want to thank you for tuning in. Until next week's episode, keep mastering your business, and remember, a well-crafted website can make all the difference in your success.